Hi, I'm Khailee Ng, Managing Director of 500 Startups. I'm really excited to be here at TCDC. And for the presentation, I look forward to sharing with everyone who's anyone in design or whether you're not around design about a few ideas which I think are very critical on how any one of us can design the future. So what does that mean? A lot of times when people think about creating businesses or creating products, especially when they think about creating startups, they think about it, they need to learn business skills or they need to have like technical skills. But the creative process, whether or not you're a web designer, a brand identity designer, or a furniture designer, to how you actually design a business is a very similar creative process. So I'll be talking about how a lot of designers has built multi-billion-dollar startups, and also on how designers at any level can get started and get the ideas executed quickly to become businesses. And this may come as a surprise to a lot of designers to see that they actually have the power to create anything they want for their own lives as well as the whole future of Thailand. So I look forward to seeing you guys and telling you more about how anyone can design the future.
เดี๋ยวจะขอแนะนำเลยนะคะว่าท่านนี้เป็นนักลงทุนผู้ประสบความสำเร็จในการทำธุรกิจนะคะเป็นผู้ร่วมบริหารบริษัท500 startups หรือภาษาอังกฤษ500 startups เป็นบริษัทธุรกิจลงทุนด้านการเงินนะคะแล้วก็หนึ่งใน VC จาก Silicon Valley ที่น่าจับตาดูมากที่สุดนะคะในขณะนี้ที่เอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้ค่ะก็เดี๋ยวจะประกาศชื่อเขาเป็นภาษาอังกฤษนะคะ For our very last speaker please put your hands up for Mr. Khailee Ng
Yeah, I know it's a bit different look from the photo. The real Khailee Ng couldn't make it. I'm the stunt double, the twin brother nobody cares about. Yeah, but yeah, this is me. Good afternoon. So, 2 nights ago, I was having a dinner catch up with 2 of my closest friends in Bangkok, Kun Krating and Kun Mu of Ugbi and Disrupt University, respectively. Now we were catching up, just catching about life and everything, and Kun Krating shared with me a bit of a sad story. His father had been working with the Thai king for 30 years, going around the country setting up schools, putting up education programs, and of course with the Thai king's passing, naturally Krating's dad was very, very sad, as with most of Thailand. Now for Krating, he was also very sad, but he told me that it gave him a certain energy. What had happened? He said that he spent his life trying to make his family proud, trying to make him do things that make himself proud. And he says, right now with the king's passing, he wanted to have some ideas, some new ideas, which was so bold, he didn't even dare to say it, but ideas that would even do something for Bangkok that would even make the king proud. Now when I heard this, and when he shared his ideas, I was taken by a certain energy which he had. I mean, what a bold idea to do something with his life, not just to make himself proud, his family proud, but also to make the king proud. That's like a very bold idea. Now, Krating's ideas, of course, if you want to know what it is, you have to talk to Krating. But I wanted to share that with you because that's the kind of stuff that I want to talk about here today. I want to talk about the very nature of having ideas, which are so bold, and how do you actually translate them for them to become real? That's what this presentation is about. I want to talk about how designers and design thinking and the very nature of ideas you could use to design your own future for your life as well as the future of Thailand. And I will tell you in the next time slot, which I'm given 30 to 40 minutes, which I'll use, I will promise to give you everything I have. This presentation here is very, very personal to me, and it's a big honor for me to be here. I'm going to give you everything I have. Everything I've gleaned from everything I've done, I'm going to give you everything. All I want you to do is just one thing, is you tell me that you're ready to hear it. Are you ready to hear this? Say yes. Well, it seems like maybe 60% of you are ready. Come on. Who's ready to hear this? All right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We'll see how ready you are. So Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Khailee Ng, Managing Partner of 500 Startups. I'm glad to be the closing speaker here for this CU2016 exit. And it's, like I said, a great honor to be probably the last set of speakers here before TCDC moves to its new home, into its new chapter. So I'm really, really excited. And how I'm going to kick it off is I'm going to show you the boldest, biggest ideas which have taken the world by storm that's happening in the world today. I want you to have a look at this little chart with your binoculars, with your laser eagle eye vision. Basically what's up here, I'm just going to walk here and point it out to you guys. So what's this black thing over here is that in 2001, the top 5 largest market cap companies in the world, 4 out of 5 of them were non-tech. They were like banks like Citi, and they were like oil and gas like Exxon and retail like Walmart. Microsoft was up there in the top 5 as one of the very few tech companies. 2006, nothing has changed. There's only one company out of the top 5 biggest companies in the world. 2011, that's like 10 years later. Nothing has changed. But 2016 is special. Everything has changed. 5 out of 5 of the largest companies in the world are all tech companies. Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook. There's no oil and gas. There's no finance, there's no retail, there's no industry, there's no old industry, it's all tech. So the little ideas that people who thought were new and cute ideas just a few years ago are now the biggest ideas in the world. Today, in the realm of finance, people talk about fintech. This is a screenshot, a very famous screenshot from CB Insights. They put together this image where it's a screenshot of the HSBC website. Each and every single button on HSBC's website is a new startup that is funded by VCs. Every little thing a bank is doing, there is a startup out there with a new idea on how to do it better. And they are funded and they're going after banks. Same thing with automotive and transport. Every other part of the car, there are new startups looking at these parts and how to do these things better. Same thing for logistics. This is a screenshot of the FedEx website. Every button you can click on, there's a startup trying to do it even better. Consumer goods are not spared. This is no longer tech for tech's sake. These are just consumer goods. You go take a walk down Walmart, you see that each and every product out there, there's an online version of it, which is cheaper and better. And a lot of them are funded. 2016 is a very special year for big ideas because this is the year that everyone has woken up to them. Now, again, in the previous years, all the billion-dollar tech company exits were bought by tech companies. It was companies like Google and Yahoo and Rakuten and IBM and LinkedIn. All these are the biggest exits year after year. But 2016, the biggest tech exits were bought by non-tech companies. Walmart buying Jet.com for $3 billion. Unilever buying Dollar Shave Club for $1 billion US. I'm telling you, man, this year is the year of big ideas. Big ideas powered by tech. And it makes some people feel a bit uneasy. It makes some people feel afraid. Some people's jobs, they feel threatened by it. I mean, if they weren't already afraid of Dr. Weiss's AI coming to eat them alive, there's more to be afraid of. Governments of every country, they're waking up to this and they're reacting, especially oil-dependent countries. If you spend the past 50, 100 years of the wealth of your country supplied by oil, what happens when the oil price drops? Here we have a picture of also known as MBS. He's the Crown Prince of Saudi. He's here pictured having dinner with 10 of the most revered and respected Silicon Valley venture capitalists in a room. There's Mark Andreessen, there's Dave McClure of 500, there's Peter Thiel, all of them, they're just having dinner together. And he's talking about his bold vision of investing in tech. After this dinner, he put $3 billion US into Uber, and he committed to do a joint venture fund with SoftBank for $100 billion US to invest in tech. $100 billion US to invest in tech. These are oil and gas companies, the biggest in the world, a lot of them state-owned or non-state-owned, and this is a map showing little startup investments that even oil and gas companies are doing. State-owned enterprises, government-linked companies around the world, around Southeast Asia, they're all going into tech because they have to. How does that leave Thailand? Thailand is no different. Thailand's government also has a vision. Last year, they announced $570 million US venture fund for startups. It's a good start. Me and my partners, Krating and Mu, we've got the 500 Tuk Tuks fund. We've been doing a lot of investments here. But I'll say that Southeast Asia, for all its good intentions, it's still behind Southeast Asia itself. What do I mean by this? This is a chart of VC dollars as a percentage of GDP. So GDP is how much the region is able to produce, right? It's a proxy for that. And Southeast Asia is 0.04% of the GDP is allocated to VC money. That's like 3.4 times less than China. That's like almost 6 times less than India. And it's almost like 10 times less than the US. So in a lot of ways, Southeast Asia doesn't actually believe in Southeast Asia that much. And what's even scarier, if anybody wants to take market share of VC and tech, they've got to first beat Japan. Japan's been investing in all the VCs for years, and then Singapore. This is a map of all the money in Southeast Asia from idea stage to product and customer stage, growing, scaling, and dominance, from 5K checks all the way to 10 million plus to $100 million checks. Very few of these VCs are funded by Thai money. Most of them, I'm Malaysian, not a lot of them are funded by Malaysian money either. It's mostly Japan money and Singapore money. And this is a very scary thing, to think that a country can spend all its money on roads, on education, on hospitals, seeding the very potential of Thai people. And the moment the Thai company becomes a big company, which needs $100 million US dollars, Singaporeans and Japanese come in to buy it up. So how does that affect you and me? If you're not a policymaker, maybe you're like, well, I'm a designer. What does it matter to me? That's like the government's job. Well, I'm here to tell you that you and me were already affected. Whether you're in design and whatever aspect of design or not, tech is here. It's influencing what designs actually get created and get funded. This is a breakdown of successful campaigns of Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Art, comics, dance, design, fashion, film and video, photography, music, games, technology, food, theater, writing. Whatever kind of creative aspect you're in, tech is already influencing what designs get created. Tech is influencing how designs get sold to the world. From Etsy, the biggest marketplace for handmade stuff, to Blissbee, which is a local marketplace for handmade stuff in Thailand. Tech influences how designs evolve. Everything a graphic designer would design, you can tell your client about taste, about what's good. But once you show the analytics, you show the heat maps, where people are touching, how many people are pressing on different things. That's like real feedback for your designs to evolve. Now, tech does not only influence how designs evolve, it influences how designers themselves evolve. Let me tell you 2 stories from my portfolio of investments. Over there on the right is a jewelry company called Aurori. They have 35 million US dollars worth of jewelry listed on their website, except that none of these rings are even created yet. All these rings are just simulations of the actual ring. And they will show all of these designs, hundreds of designs. If, let's say, a visitor were to click on a design, then Aurori's algorithm will know that someone's interested in that ring. If they will show like 100 designs and no one clicks on any of those 100 designs, the next day, those designs aren't even there. They're no longer shown. So what you see in Aurori, it keeps getting changed just by how people are reacting to the rings they click or the rings they buy. And the moment somebody buys a ring, that design immediately goes into a just-in-time production method for the ring to be produced and delivered to you within 2 weeks. And so as a ring designer, you're sitting there and you're designing rings over and over again, and you're learning your style of designing what kind of rings and jewelry the world wants. The same thing for Pomelo Fashion. Like those of you who shop online in Thailand, you may recognize Pomelo Fashion because they're a Thai company. Now their clothes up there is the same thing. They learn from what people are clicking on and what people are buying, and even the choice of models, modeling the clothes. So I'll tell you that the designers themselves who work in companies and businesses themselves are already influenced by how tech is helping them. So I'll say that whether you think this has anything to do with you or not, you either ride the wave or you drown beneath it. So maybe you want to get involved in tech. Maybe you've caught the startup bug. Maybe you've been to Krating's Disrupt University class and got inspired to do something involved in tech. Then you ask yourself, what if I'm not a business person? What if I'm not a programmer? What if all my friends aren't programmers? What am I going to do? I mean, I'm just a designer. So for this next section of my presentation, I'm gonna have to tell you a very personal story. And again, I'm gonna need your permission for this, okay? Just get extra personal, right? So just tell me yes. Do I have your permission to get personal with you? Yes? Did I hear yes? Okay. All right, you guys asked for it, all right? Okay. Before I tell you the personal story, okay, I forgot one slide I wanted to share with you. Okay, and this is a slide which is not my story, but a story of other designers. This is a slide showing designer-founded companies, and collectively, this selection of companies is worth $35 billion US dollars worth of valuation, and they serve about 3.1 billion unique users. A lot of you may not know that YouTube, Android, Flickr, Etsy, Instagram, Tumblr, Vimeo, SlideShare, Kickstarter itself, Behance, Path, so on and so forth, well, a lot of them were founded by designers. And even the Airbnb itself, they had an industrial designer, Brian Chesky, the CEO, he's an industrial designer. So before you think that you're not a business person and you're not a programmer, you can't start companies, you can just count how many companies, most influential companies in the world were created by designers themselves. They weren't programmers, they weren't business people, and neither was I. Now, I started out, people ask me, say, hey, Khailee, have you always been an entrepreneur? You built and sold 2 companies, you're investing in companies. Have you always wanted to be a VC or be an entrepreneur? I tell them, no. You know, I still wake up sometimes and wonder what the hell am I doing in my life? And because for the most part, I've just been trying to find my place. I've just been kind of reacting to the world which doesn't feel like I fit into the world at all. A lot of kids were good at sports. I tried every sport. I played basketball, football, running, all kinds of things. I was crap at all of them. You know, I just like to draw. My friend was Microsoft Paint. I love drawing with computers. You guys ever use Microsoft Paint? Yeah, man, it's OG, man, original gangster shit. I spent so much time on Microsoft Paint, so much time. I draw things like birds, right? I draw things like turtles. Maybe because that's how I felt about my life. Just like getting by, trying to avoid peer pressure. And for the most part, like my entrepreneur journey had a lot of story of pain. So the first touch I had really with the web was because I felt really bad about myself. I felt very worthless. All my friends, they had this phone. It was a Nokia 8210 at the time. It was like a really small handset. It's cool. I had the Nokia 3210, which in Cantonese, my friends called the Tai Tao Jie, which is like the big-headed phone. They say you can like stop robbers with it. You can, all kinds of stuff. You know, if your car is reversing backwards, you just put it there just in case. That was my phone. And I told myself every day, I'm gonna get that small phone. I'm gonna get the 8210, and then I'll be cool. I'm gonna be like everybody else. So I did some math. I'm like, okay, this is my allowance. This is how much the phone is. I'm taking about 8 years to buy this phone. I'm gonna negotiate with my mom and dad. So I said, Mom, Dad, I want this small phone. This is how much it costs. They're like, but you already have this phone. It's a good phone. It works. I'm like, yeah, but it's not the small phone. You don't get it. You don't understand. Well, okay, I lost that negotiation because they didn't understand. So I had to understand it for myself. I did some math. Okay, I was 15 at the time, going 16. School holidays was coming. I could get a job. I could get a part-time job. Started to do some math. My friends are getting part-time jobs. Barista at Starbucks. All right, $4 an hour. Okay, folding clothes at this at G2000 or something. Okay, this is how much it costs. Again, I did some math. I need 6 months of holiday to buy the phone. I don't have 6 months of vacation. I'm going to waste my vacation away. Now, here's an idea. I thought that, what if I did something which my friend's older brother did? He designed a Flash intro. He used Flash to design like a fancy intro before somebody went into the website, right? Some of you who are like old enough in the crowd would remember that. You had to torture yourself for about 30 seconds if the skip intro button didn't appear, right? You just sit there and watch these stupid shapes annoy you till you could actually go into the website. Yeah, that stuff used to cost like 60,000 Sing dollars, right? So my friend's older brother was 17 years old. That's what he did. He designed Flash intros, and he charged people 60,000 Sing dollars for 2 weeks of work. I did the math on that. Wow, I'm gonna buy a phone shop. That's what I'm gonna do. So me and my friend, we sat down. We're like, all right, let's learn this Flash thing. Just go on Google. Let's learn it out. 2 weeks later, we still don't know how to do it. Okay, all right, let's learn HTML and CSS, and let's learn Adobe Photoshop. Okay, that's what we did. So we go and learn. Then we mastered the art of just downloading themes and hacking themes. Yeah, right? Just hacking some themes, okay? Hosting it in GeoCities, getting it on. And now we needed customers. All right? When a mom and dad, you want to pay me to build a website for you? Lost that negotiation. So I did what I thought was a good idea at the time, right? I thought one idea is that I could just flip through newspapers. I would look at companies, and if they didn't have a website, maybe they needed one. So I'd flip the newspaper every day, and I'd see an ad, see a number. I call, doot, doot. Hey, put my low adult voice. Hi, saw your ad in the newspaper today. I was looking for your website. I wanted more information. Oh, you don't have a website. I see. And so that's how I tried to get clients. Eventually, we got a little bit of work, and I saved up enough money. I still had my vacation, and that was my first touch with tech, my first touch with the internet. And it is a strange feeling, I'm telling you. The moment you create something and you put it online, and you look at your analytics and you discover that 10,000 people have interacted or seen something you built, you feel a sense of significance. Someone's heard you in this world. And that gets pretty addictive. So I spent the rest of my 10 years just doing freelance design, print design. I designed for theater productions. I designed all kinds of stuff while I was in school. Now the second take I had with the with internet business and startups was again in high school, but it's a different story. It's a different idea. It's also wrought from a very painful situation. I found it really difficult to talk to girls. Really, really hard. I could code websites, but I couldn't decode girls. I still can. Okay, I'm not saying I can, right? This is a lifelong journey. But I did the math in my head. I was like, okay, if I were to hang out with enough girls, some of them would talk to me more, and then I can practice, right? And so me and this other friend who had the similar conundrum, there was this one club called the Leo Club of SMK Damansara Jaya, which is my high school in Malaysia. They had, everyone was joining scouts and other kind of manly boy kind of clubs. But this Leo Club did 160 girls and 10 guys. I'm like, wow, that sounds like good odds to me. I'm going to join that club. That club was such a dorky club. They had this vest, and you wear this vest and these badges, and you collect badges. So you go around clinking around with badges. It was dorky ass. I'm like, no wonder nobody joins this club. But so we were in that club, and being one of the few guys in that club, the girls who ran the club gave us all the work. So they're like, all right, now that you've joined the club, you're going to need to help us with fundraising. Go out and raise us this amount of money because this is what we need. And we're like, but what are we going to do? They're like, you go figure it out. And so that's what I did. For 2 years in the student organization, all I did was fundraising. I just make up random stuff that people would buy. Oh, Valentine's Day, hey, let's sell roses. Hey, let's create a bake sale that people buy each other's stuff, but indirectly you're just making parents pay for fundraising. That's great. Bake sale, sell roses, let's put on a little concert. Oh man, that got really fun. At its peak, I did a charity event which I mobilized 250 volunteers. I was 17. We made about 14,000 ringgit, which is about 3,000 US dollars. We profited about 80% on that one. And the school took all the money away and created curtains and air conditioning for the teachers' rooms. Yeah, I did good. But it was at that time where I started to learn by age 17 that little ideas that you pay attention to, little ideas that you say yes to, you just don't know where it'll lead. The fact that I listened to the idea of creating a Flash intro, I still didn't design Flash. Thank God I didn't become a Flash designer, I picked up something more useful, right? Something didn't go obsolete. And when I listened to my need to practice talking to girls, I ended up learning how to fundraise and learn how to lead teams. And so these two skills combined, I can build any product on the web, and I can get people together, and I can raise money. I think those are pretty cool skills to pick up by age 17. And so sorry, can I have the slides back on? So by age 17, it's a very difficult, on one hand, okay, I've learned a thing or two. But on the other hand, I think it threw me in a state of uncontrollable mania, actually. I think that was what it was like. So by age 18, when I went to college, I'm like, oh, nobody understands me. Look at the potential of the internet, man. It'll change everything. my friends were, sipping drinks, late night, they're playing snooker, they're really into snooker. I was crap at snooker. They were really good at snooker. I was there in the arcades and I say, hey guys, let's build an internet business. Let's make some money. Let's go look at Google. We can be just like Google. They're like, whatever, man. So it was a very lonely period of my life. I'd be consumed with ideas, and I know a lot of you are creative people out here. Have you ever had these moments where you had an idea which infected you? Maybe you're showering, maybe you woke up from your dream, and you have an idea that is so exciting, it starts in your head and it goes down to the rest of your body. You almost feel the idea in your fingers. You see the way the idea is going to flow, the way the idea is going to evolve, the way it's going to spread, how one thing leads to another, and how the whole world wants it, how history has led itself up to today just so that idea could be born. And you put all this energy into idea, you can't control yourself. You take paper, you're taking paper, tons of paper, and you're writing down, you're sketching, you're moving things around. You go out to your laptop, you whip up PowerPoint, Keynote, or Photoshop, or whatever it is, you start doing things out. You call your friends. You say, hey, come on, I got an idea to share with you. And you share your ideas. And you talk all about your idea, and you see all the colors start flowing out of you. The whole world is great. And your friend doesn't even know what you're talking about. You look at your sketches, you're like, see, look at this. Look at this. What the hell is that? It's a bunch of sketches. Doesn't make any sense. Every time you get consumed by an idea and it totally takes you over, you go out there and you want to share it with the world. And often enough, a lot of people don't really see what you see. How come this person is not seeing what I'm seeing? Why don't they see it the way I see it? How come they're not seeing it? Happens too much. The next time you have an idea, maybe you'll say, it's not worth it. The next time you have an idea which is so powerful, so bold, that you gave birth to it, you delivered that idea of your own hands, and you would take it and you would crush it. Your mom didn't tell you to kill your idea. Your friend didn't tell you to kill your idea. The world did not tell you to kill your idea. You killed your idea. That happened to me at age 18 and 19 and 20. It happens over and over again. Just like all of you creative people in the room, it happens to you every other day where ideas get killed by yourself. One fine day, after killing the graveyard of all my own ideas, I decided to humor myself again and said, what if I listened to just one idea? What if I just listened to an idea again? What if I gave it a little bit of attention which would nurture the idea, would nurture the idea and help the idea grow. And maybe if it's nurtured in the right way, it would grow and it would grow and it would grow. And that's what I did. I had small ideas from organizing. I was like into music at the time and organizing gigs. I took a lot of indie bands and put them in mainstream locations. We staged about 70 bands. Yeah, little ideas, I made some money, brand sponsors, just little ideas that I said yes to. They started to grow, they started to take shape, they started to become real. It gave me the strength, the courage to listen to bigger ideas. Listen to and stop killing my own ideas. Slowly enough, right? I started to build on a lot of design and web ideas all over again. This is a website I have. I built this myself. I designed this myself. It's on Khailee.com. You can check it out and see my broken CSS all over it. I said yes to bigger and bigger ideas. I had 2 ideas at a time. I had one friend, just one friend who was like me. No other friend was like me at all. One crazy guy, his name is Joel Neo. He listened to ideas. He wasn't killing his ideas. He said yes to ideas. He said yes. And since we didn't have many friends, we had this stuffed tiger as our 3rd co-founder of our companies. So we had 2 ideas at a time. I wasn't really, from the days of flipping newspapers, I realized that I didn't want to read the news. The news is just a whole wall of text. It's not exciting at all. I said, what if I could create news to be interesting? Then maybe cat gifs and listicles aren't the only thing that will get consumed in the web. Maybe real news would. And so I said, maybe I could just redesign the news and make it more consumable. So that was says.com. We had another idea, which was more of Joel's idea, actually, where given we had a lot of traffic from our says news portal, maybe we could sell stuff. Maybe we just clone Groupon and just launch a Groupon clone. Next thing you know, says.com becomes the largest English millennial audience for news in the country. And then we merged with a few other Malay portal and a Chinese portal for the 3 languages to come together. We're the biggest online news portal in the whole country. Today, it exists listed under Ref Asia Berhad in the stock exchange in Malaysia. For Group Smart, within 3 months, it became the 2nd largest e-commerce operations. We sold it to Groupon, and the team continued to run Groupon for all of Asia, turning it profitable. Groupon US was the one in trouble, actually. So with all of this stuff, right, it took me 4 years. Because I finally believed in my own ideas. I finally said yes to ideas. I finally gave it the attention it deserved, and that's why they grew. Now, at this point, I've shared with you the nature of ideas and the feeling that you get with ideas and what normally happens to ideas and what if you said yes. But I'll tell you that building and selling 2 companies or whatever it is that you guys are doing with your career, for a creative individual, it never ends. If you read the autobiography of Ang Lee, the filmmaker, it's called The Never Ending Dream. Every film he made, he'll make another one because he's living a creative dream. If we are creative souls, we're here to create. It will create again and again and again. So at this point, I was doing a lot of angel investing in Malaysia. Other friends who had said yes to ideas, I gave them money, we built companies, it was a lot of fun. However, this photo, it was taken from a restaurant in Malaysia, near my home, right, in Petaling Jaya, this district in Malaysia. When I look at this photo, I see that my entire life can be taken in one snapshot where number 1, house I grew up, number 2, the second house I moved to, number 3, the third house I moved to, number 4, my primary school, then my secondary school, the first office I was in. I was like a village kid, man. I was like a nobody in the world. Yet again, having done some Malaysian startup stuff, like I was nobody. I said, if I was really listening to a big, bold idea, I said, how about Silicon Valley? Silicon Valley was like at the time, the Hollywood of innovation. It is like the Mecca of innovation. You know, I had to go there. I just had to touch Silicon Valley to be legit. That's how I felt. Okay, so I just landed there, you know, maybe I'll be significant. So okay, let's do this. Silicon Valley, here I come. I hustled, I tried to make friends, try to like spam people, famous people. I spammed Dave McClure, 3 different connections, trying to get his attention, all kinds of things. I managed to get an audience with him, and he allowed me to volunteer as a mentor at 500 startups in batch 5. I discovered 3 things, which was a big disappointment. Number 1, when I landed in Silicon Valley, most people there weren't even from Silicon Valley anyway. You know who I met there? At some point, I go back to Silicon Valley, I met Patai from Bilk. He was at 500. All these accelerator companies, you had heard accents from all around the world. Lithuania, Russia, you know, Japan. Silicon Valley is a really international place. People just like me go there to chase our dreams. There's some stats to this as well. A friend of mine, Vivek Wadhwa, he wrote The Immigrant Exodus. In his research, 60% of Silicon Valley-based tech companies were founded by immigrants. 60% immigrant co-founders. So I was let down. I thought I'd meet Silicon Valley people, but I just met randoms just like me. I felt I was like the International Student Exchange Club or something. And number 2, they weren't much smarter than Malaysian entrepreneurs I knew. That was a real big letdown. I thought I'd be soaking up a lot of knowledge, but they weren't. They weren't, and neither were they much smarter than the Thai entrepreneurs. Like the people there weren't any much smarter. Number 3, though, something that is a huge surprise is I never could imagine how much helpful friends people in Silicon Valley had. You could walk into a bar and talk about an idea, someone who had a friend who worked at Facebook, or someone who built and sold a company, a friend who was a VC. Like people have helpful friends over there, friends with advice and money. In Malaysia, I talked to my friends, they knew a lot about snooker. They couldn't help me. I love them, okay? I love them. I'm not hating on them or anything, but you know, I need money, man, you know? I need some tech ideas. And so people in Silicon Valley, they do have a lot of friends. And so that's where I had a new idea. I told Dave McClure, the founding partner of 500 startups, at the time, a lot of people would look at people like Dave and other folks as Silicon Valley folks, right? PayPal Mafia, ex-PayPal, worked for Peter Thiel, made 60 times the money for Peter Thiel at Founders Fund, went on to create his own fund, 500 startups. I told him, I said, dude, here's an idea. What if we take the 500 story and the brand and we bring it through the rest of the world? And he's like, Khailee, I'm already on it, right? I've invested in Vicky in Singapore, sold to Rakuten for 200 million US dollars. You know, I've done about 12 investments in Southeast Asia. I flew down there on my own to Haji Lane in Singapore to smoke shisha with the founders and to cut checks, okay? I'm on it. So you and I were thinking the same. I'm like, great, you got a good idea, because that's my idea too. So why not let's work together? And we created a new fund called 500 Durians for Southeast Asia. Fast forward 24 months, we've invested in 119 companies. 34 of them have continued to raise more than 2 billion US dollars. So this set of companies over here, like, raise money from Sequoia, SoftBank, Tiger, so on and so forth. World-renowned investors that come in to invest in these companies. Well, if you take away Grab, because we're early investors in Grab, if you take away Grab, 33 of these companies have continued to raise 300 million US dollars, which is still a significant amount of money. In terms of companies who are dead or dying, there's a lot of them who are chugging along. None of them are officially dead yet. One of them seems pretty close. But so far so good, right? And from this, I start to see a unicorn pattern actually emerge. So on seed level, 119 companies, how many of them go to A, B, late stage, and then to a unicorn? It started to get more and more predictable the more and more deals I've done. And I'm continuing with this new fund I launched called Durance 2, very creative name. So 500 Durance 2 will be 50 million US dollars, and we're gonna go find 200 more ideas to put money to. 200 more ideas we can say yes to. Now with this, I've given you an example of how saying yes to little ideas may take you places you would never imagine. And today, as I stand over here, there are ideas which scare me. There are ideas which are so bold that I get afraid, but there are also a lot of ideas I say yes to. So with this third part of my presentation, I want to share with you ways you can accelerate your ideas after you say yes. But before we do that, again, right, I want to know if that you guys are going to say yes to your next idea or not. Will you say yes to your next idea? Yes. Will you say yes to your next idea? Yes. Then you can hear this, okay? This formula is very simple. You take your idea that you just said yes to, you spend one day to sketch it out. Only one day. Don't you spend 2 weeks, 3 nights, or whatever, right? Just one day. You go get your membership pass to see TCDC's new location. You go into that library, you sit down, and you sketch out that idea. Sketch it out one day. That's all you take. Next thing, you ask one friend to help you out. Okay, just one friend. If you don't have one friend, look beside you right now. There's so many friends that you have here in TCDC. You make a friend, okay? No excuses. You take one day, you grab one friend to help you create this idea. And you produce one product. Whatever crappy looking product you have, create one product that you can sell, right? Minimum viable product or mediocre value proposition, up to you, right? Create something that you think you can sell. You take that one product and you make one sale. Okay, that's all I can sell it once, okay? Sell it at a discount, sell it for a favor, one sale. You make this one sale, then you get one feedback from the customer you sold it to. That's all I ask. Simple idea acceleration method. One day, one friend, one product, one sale, one feedback. And then you repeat. You guys want to make this happen even faster? I need your yes again. I know this is... You know what I'm going to ask you for? Do you want to make this happen even faster? Yeah. Okay, let me tell you about speed. Let me tell you about speed. Okay, let me tell you about speed. The biggest enemy of your ideas is time. It is speed. The longer you take to find one day, to find one friend, to make one product, to make one sale, to get one feedback, the longer you take, there's an exponential increase in probability of your idea dying and never amounting to anything but disappointment. You need to be really fast with this. So I'm going to tell you 2 stories. The first story was when I was working with Joel, my business partner and co-founder before. We were talking to another friend wanted to talk to us about ideas. He said he wanted to create a t-shirt printing company. And so he was talking about his ideas about how most t-shirt printing companies make shirt cuts which are too big. They end up becoming pajamas, you know. He wanted to make really good fit, well-fitted shirts, t-shirts, and printing. And he was going on, getting all visionary on it for about like half an hour. I was like, yeah, you know, and just listening. And so Joel, he was totally uninterested. He was just like on his phone. He just made a phone call. And I thought it was a bit rude. I said, hey, Joel, man, hey, look, Shannon here is like talking about his idea, man. Like, maybe you should listen to it. And so Joel was like, okay, I just called 3 different like t-shirt suppliers. Like they're charging this amount of money, 16 ringgits. You know, the cost base is about 14 ringgits. So if you can sell 100,000 shirts this year, you're only going to make about 200,000 ringgits, you know? So that means if you spend a year on it, that's like 12 months. So it's roughly about, you know, 20 grand, less than that, 18 grand a month. You got 2 partners, each of you making 9 grand a month. You're currently working as an auditor in PricewaterhouseCoopers, probably earning more than 9 grand a month. Is this idea even worth it? So while Shannon was talking about the idea, Joel was already working on the idea, qualifying, working on it, while the idea was being talked about. And it was at that moment I realized that, okay, that's the kind of person that I want to do business with. And that's the kind of people I need to surround myself with. You know, you talk about something, you're like, hey, you know, oh, that's a really cool photo. Yeah, can you send it to me? Instead of, I'll send it to you later, like, what's your email? Put the phone in your hand, key in the email, boom, photo sent. Immediate people. The only thing which is faster than fast is now. Right now. So that's the first story. Next story. Next story is a time where I've started already doing my news company. We didn't want to sell banner ads because we knew banner ads were shit and they're going to die and nobody's going to buy them. And Google's going to take over all banner ads if Facebook doesn't. And so we're like, okay, we're not going to sell any banner ads. We got a ton of traffic, no banner ads. We're going to sell branded content, sponsored stories, that's it. But the trouble with sponsored stories and branded content, this was 4 years ago. It was so new. Like BuzzFeed wasn't even like selling that either. You know, we were just selling it at the time because we thought it made more sense. We thought it was a good idea. So naturally selling it was really hard. We had to discuss with the client over and over again, back and forth, proposals just to make one sale. So me and my sales team at the time, I had 2 other people in my sales team, and we're trying to hit a goal. We did about 150K ringgit a month. That's about 1.5 million baht. 1.5 million baht in sales every month. And I told them, I said, look, we're going to have to do 10 million baht. 10 million baht in 1 month worth of sales, in 1 quarter worth of sales, right? That's like a stretch goal. And they're like, no, it's impossible. It takes too long. We need more salespeople. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have any more money for more salespeople. So it was a really tough negotiation with my own team for them to believe in a bigger, bolder idea. So I sat down and I said, okay, I can't have more salespeople. I can't really make myself even more convincing that quickly to turn, maybe I can, but I couldn't change their minds that quickly. If they're not ready to buy, what can I do? So I sat down and I thought about it. When I go to a client's office, I sit down with a media agency and talk to them. They'll listen to it and they'll want a proposal. They'll say, hey, send me a proposal in a week. And then after they receive the proposal, I'll need to schedule another meeting, which may take another 2 weeks. So I may need a month's time before I get the next meeting. And after I get the next meeting, there could be another round of proposals, and it might never amount in a sale. So the enterprise sales cycle is very long. So what I thought to myself, I said, hey, wait a minute. There's probably only a finite set of ideas which a client might buy. What if I created like 10 templates of ideas, sponsored content ideas, and I already created all the logos of all the clients beforehand that I'm pitching, just create all that stuff beforehand. So I walk into the office one day, into the media agency's office with a morning meeting, and we talk about it. I pitch it. They said, hey, great, send me a proposal. I like, all right, I'll send you a proposal. I walk out, I go to the lounge, I sat down, and I just like copy and paste and put some stuff in, boom. And I called them and say, hey, I've just sent you the proposal. They were like, what? You just walked out of my room. I'm like, that's right. I am still in your room, sort of. I'm your living room. If you have a look at the proposal now, you can give me feedback. We can talk about it in the living room because I'm still there. And so they're like, okay, that's scary. What a freak. All right, I'll look at it. And then they look at it, they're like, oh, hey, this is not bad. This is pretty cool. Hey, yeah, we got to talk about some stuff. All right, I'll come over. So they come to the living room. They sit down and they're like, hey, let's talk about this. All right, let's make changes. I'm still in the living room. I make changes. I deliver it again. But I do one thing extra. I said, hey, do you have a colleague who's facing the same issue and they want some social media thing? Like, I can talk to them. I'm here. And I try and upsell myself on another meeting. And I do it again. And I do it again. And I'll do it again. And so much so, I'm sitting at the living room. Their living room became my office. And I recognized them walking up. I said, hey, wow, hey, what you doing here? Oh yeah, this is your office. No wonder, ha ha ha. Yeah, I just came out of a meeting. I happened to be here, you know. Oh, by the way, do you want to talk about this? I would clock in about 5 meetings a day. 5 meetings a day, and immediate real time, right? We hit our goal. At the peak when I sold the company. We were doing 12 million ringgit. That's 120 million baht. Yeah, about $4 million US. Was our revenue. We're doing about 38% net profit. It was like a cash machine when I sold it. And you know, just by speeding up, I didn't change. I didn't put any new salespeople at all. I'm just doing things faster. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger has this one quote. You guys, have you heard of this Arnold Schwarzenegger quote? It's like, if you don't have enough time in a day and you need sleep, just sleep faster. Sleep faster, yeah. You know, that's his quote, right? I mean, it's funny, but you know, people underestimate the power of speed. And when you really one day come to do a startup and you realize you've only raised enough money to fund yourself for 10 months, every day is a race against time, is a race against death. So there you have it. Idea acceleration method number 1. One day, one friend, one product, one sale, one feedback. You repeat it and repeat it with a lot of speed. And now it's always faster and faster. Now next, idea acceleration method number 2. I assume you want to hear it, so I'm going to get right to it. It's just support somebody else's idea. Right now, there are a ton of great ideas in the world. Sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. It is a lot of hassle to build a company and convince people. Like even when you see like one day, one friend, one product, one idea, why don't you just go to one company and apply for a job? You know, it's nothing's wrong with that at all. In fact, like what I'm doing, my first job was in a startup. I didn't start like giving birth to companies. You know, I went to get a job, and then when I became an entrepreneur, then now I'm working in 500 startups. You know, because Dave has a great idea. He's already worked on it. He's built a ton of credibility. He's built like a brand which scales. I'm like, great, I'm going to support this idea. And I'm achieving so much more because of it. The moment you can drop your ego of being the one who needs to own it, to be your baby, you know, and you channel that ego to support an idea which may be started by somebody else, but you treat it as your baby, it's no different. You can feel the same amount of autonomy, ownership, and love. You may have less control, granted. But a lot can be achieved because people supported other people's ideas. All the top 5 biggest companies in the world, Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft, they employ hundreds and thousands of really smart people. I got a lot of friends at Facebook who built and sold companies, but they decided that nothing they can work on is as big as Facebook as an idea. That's why they're there. So you think about that for a little bit. You really want to be fast to work on a grand and bold idea? Think if somebody else is doing it, maybe you can help them. Now, I've come to the closing of my presentation, and I wanted to share with you my next idea. I know I couldn't share with you Krating's idea, but at least I can share with you mine. I've started to observe that the top 5 biggest companies in the world right now, the first wave of magnanimous internet giants, they allowed over 1 billion people to use their internet to consume a lot. And if I were to like straddle them by market cap, you'll notice that Facebook, they're primarily a consumption engine. There's way more people consuming things on Facebook than actually creating and selling things and creating economic value on Facebook. It's more often a consumption machine. Now for Amazon, more people are buying off Amazon than selling off Amazon. That's why Amazon makes money, and that's why Amazon's a big company. So they help people create a lot of business, but there's a lot of consumption on Amazon. For Microsoft, they're primarily a creation engine for a lot of the work of modern workplaces, PowerPoint or Microsoft Doc or whatever, Microsoft Word. A lot of stuff they're doing to help people create, and those creations get consumed a lot. Google, they're a huge consumption engine, but their productivity suites and Android and a lot of things are helping people create too. And then you've got Apple, which yes, we consume a lot of stuff off Apple. But every device we hold in our hand, we're creating all kinds of things with it. Every software since Apple was born till now has been to fuel a world of creators. So I've noticed like a certain balance between consumption and creation which makes the world work. And now that over 1 billion people are using a lot of these companies, I ask myself, what if I can turn 500 startups into a creation platform? What if I can encourage the billions of people who are consuming things on Facebook and Google and with all these tech companies today, the people who consume on the internet, what if I encourage them to create? 500 today, we've done over 1,700 investments in 50 countries in the 6 years odd that we've been alive. We are the most active investor in the seed stage in the world. Since 2012, we're most active in fintech. We're most active in real estate tech since 2013. We're most active in Asia since 2015. We're most active seed investor in the world, like for the longest time. For fintech, when we believe last year it's a good idea that banks aren't going to move as fast as startups, we said, okay, let's invest in hundreds of good ideas. We've so far invested in over 100 fintech ideas for 15 countries. Property, we think that there are a lot of inefficiencies in property, and there are a lot of good ideas waiting to be funded. We've invested in over 30 ideas in 10 countries related to property. And we're going to do this for every single space we think there are inefficiencies. We're going to go there, we're going to fund hundreds of companies to make it work. And from this, we're going to apply the same pattern of like large portfolio theory to create game-changing companies. This is an analysis of Fund 1 and Fund 2 companies where we collectively have invested in 577 seed companies. They went all the way to produce 2 unicorns. One of them is Credit Karma. Credit Karma is valued at $3.5 billion. They do about $500 million of sales and they're profitable. And we also invested in Twilio, which just went IPO at $4.5 billion valuation. And all these come from the same style of seed investing we've done. So if we can provide more people with more seed capital everywhere, not just in Silicon Valley, but right here in Bangkok, or even in Phuket, in Thailand, anywhere in the world, as long as there's smart people and good people who finally believe in their own ideas enough to actually create something, I want to be there to fund it. And not only that, we want to be the largest provider of startup services as well. We've been providing a lot of growth hacking services, launching these kind of like internet marketing camps all over the world, in Miami, in London, in Malaysia, and we're going to do more of that in 2017. We've also started providing a lot of educational content on investing. We're Stanford's first ever partner to teach venture capital. We're in our 3rd class of teaching venture capital already. It's called VC Unlocked. It's like a program that you can send yourself to. And we've also partnered with UC Berkeley to develop content on how you can do entrepreneurship in the Middle East and Asia, which is like a strange place to do business for some. So, and lastly, by funding a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of idea people, and also providing services and providing a lot of education, we believe we're actually assembling a very valuable, I wouldn't call it a social network, but a human network of creators and a world of friends. I want to have any of us here in the room to build a company and to be able to sit down with a friend who can give you timely advice and who can give you access to money, or who might know of a friend with money, who can fund you. Friends like Kun Krating and Kun Mu, and friends that I'm so fortunate to have made across the years. And that, I think, is a really beautiful world for idea creators. Now, if you want to design your future, if you have an idea which is so bold that it scares you, that you would make yourself proud, make your family proud, and you dare say, even think you'd make the king of Thailand proud, what is that idea? Today, I told you that tech can help you. Tech can help you make it big. I've told you today that I've done it from being someone who likes to draw birds and turtles. I've told you I've done some stuff. And I'm not stopping. I'm going to continue doing stuff. This is cool. This is really, really fun. I like this. Other designers in the world, they've gone out to build massive, massive companies. And I was here today also to tell you that there are friends. You're not alone. There are friends who can help you. So will you design your future? Will you design your future? Will you say yes to an idea? Will you say yes to your next idea? Damn right. So you're designers, you go out there and you design your future. Thank you very much.
Can a startup be non-tech?
Yeah, great idea. A great question. Now, what does non-tech even mean, right? I think that's something worth talking about. I've invested in a shoe company in Indonesia, for example, who sells shoes. They're called Brodo, BRO.do. They sell shoes, but they sell shoes online. And most of their sales come from Instagram. They make over $1 million worth of sales and they're profitable. It started by some 24-year-olds at the time, with their supply base in Bandung, not even in Jakarta. Are they a tech company? They're a shoe company. But on the back end, they use a lot of tech thinking on how they market, on how they sell, how they do customer support, how they manage their supply chain. And they're seeing things that so many fashion brands across Indonesia don't see. So much so that they want to help other fashion brands also use tech to sell. Now, for the person buying the shoe, they got a pair of shoes and they've got their shoes. They don't even see the tech. That's when you know it's really, really good tech. A friend of mine once told me that says the best kind of technology, it works like magic. You don't see it. It just works. It surprises you, and you will never ever know how it works, right? So I would say that like I invest in a lot of companies which appear to be non-tech companies. You can make an argument that Grab, as a taxi hailing, kind of ride hailing kind of company, they're a transportation company. So what? They've got an app, and back end they've got a lot of analytics to kind of assign which goes to where. So they're like a tech-powered transportation company. They're tech-powered logistic companies. They're even tech-powered food and beverage companies. I invested in like a healthy food snack company. I invested in a superfood company for animal-based plant-powered proteins. I do a lot of stuff, but I want to make sure that they know how to use tech to help them grow. So yes, I invest in non-tech, but yes, I invest in companies which are non-tech who use tech. I know that sounds like a Zoolander quote or something, but that's what it is.
Okay, thank you. How to deal with a conservative mind in a creative industry, especially in an organization where people pull rank over a potentially great idea. Do we say yes or walk out?
Wow, that question had 0 votes. You know, I guess. No, I'm kidding. I'll answer. I don't know what went on, man. Like nobody wants to question the question that questions the questioners, I guess. But look, okay, so let me break it down for you, right? There are a lot of times where even to encourage people who aren't your bosses but people in your team is that there are a lot of times where you have to let go of your own ideas and you give it to them. I'm not saying that you manipulate them to make them think it's their idea, but what I'm saying is that you have to share your ideas. Share your ideas in a way that you're not pushing ideas onto people. One way to do it is you try and like shove it down their throats, you try and wave it around and smack them in the head with your idea. That's one way to do it. But that way is pretty limited in its outcomes. There are other ways to help your idea grow, to nurture your idea. Sometimes you're not even sharing the solution. Sometimes you're sharing the problem. You go to your boss, you're saying that, hey, I'm struggling with this. I've tried these things. I need your advice. What else can I do? And maybe your boss will rattle off a few things. You're like, hey, that sounds like a good idea. I kind of thought about something like it, but can you please tell me more? Then maybe your boss is working on ideas. Okay, so if I were to do this, how would it work, right? There are different ways. And I think it's our jobs as creative people. It's not other people's jobs to buy our ideas. It is never their job. It is our job to sell it to them. It is our job to create it in a way that it gets to them. You can't sit there with your creative ideas. Why isn't people buying this? Why aren't people buying this? Why don't people like my ideas? You can't sit there and just wallow in your pity party. You got to do something within your own hands to help people see it. So I'll say to that question, it's actually an excellent question because we'll face this all the time.
So I was very inspired by your talk. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just really want to know, like, you're a relatively young guy and very successful, but you know, when you're 30 years down the line, I just want to understand, like, how do you view your life as being a success? What do you want to leave behind? What is success to you? Yeah. Or do you have any idea of that now?
Okay. I'll tell you this. At one point, I think I was making myself very unhappy because I was chasing that question and maybe in a way that didn't make me happy. And this is a true story. Towards 30 years old, I was having this tremendous, call it midlife crisis or whatever. I kept comparing myself to Mark Zuckerberg. It's so strange. Like because I'm his age, basically. I'm born in 1984, so I'm 32 this year, and so is he. And I was like, if he can do it, why can't I? And then so I kept like, it was so stupid. I was so unhappy. No matter what I did, I felt it was shit. And so I was unhappy. So I would say that that's a very important question, but a very dangerous question. Now, I've since turned a midlife crisis to what I hope to be a midlife renaissance, where I just keep it very simple. Every day, if I can be proud of myself, if each interaction, I feel like that was an interaction that I was proud of. Sometimes you post things to social media out of love. You share something on Facebook. Maybe there's a troll or a hater says something. How do you respond to that? Do you respond in a way that makes you proud, that's out of love? Maybe there is a founder that you've invested in who calls you up and proposes a deal that kind of screws you over in a way and then makes you kind of pissed off. But how do you respond to that out of love? How do you channel that to be constructive? Maybe, like I went for a meeting and I go for fundraising meetings, for example, and I walk out, I was like, wow, that was a really bad meeting. I think I will have 0 success from this meeting. How do I recover from that? I think every single day, how you interact with your mom, your dad, your loved ones, your husband, your wife, your kids, there are ways of this interaction that you're proud of. You're like, wow, I did the right thing. And there are ways where you interact with them and you feel like, wow, that was really bad. I really shouldn't have said that. I can't believe I just said that. I can't believe I did that. So if each and every single day I can look at my loved one at night, I can look at my partner at night, and I can feel proud that I've loved her in the way I wanted to, that I have loved my parents and treated them well, when I look at my founders and I've really helped them in the way I can, that's enough for me. That is enough. Every night I have the best sleep of my life. That is enough. And in the big scheme of things, I'm going to be unafraid of any kind of ideas because I know that I'm headed in the right direction.